Okay, now here we go. This is not summer 2016, it's spring 2017. My name is Charles Fowler, that's correct. Seems like you ought to have the title of the course here somewhere. I don't see it. I guess I'm going to have to type that in here. Math 230. Let's see if it shows up. Anyway. Nope, it's nowhere on the page. I don't see what. Duh! It's down here, but okay. I'll have to get that corrected. My contact policy. Okay. My email address is cfowler@lawsonstate.edu. And by the way, most of the employees of the college are first initial, last name at lawsonstate.edu. There are a few exceptions to that. Common last names with same first initials, they have to have the middle initial too. Like Miss Williams in our financial aid office, there was a Selena Williams on the Birmingham campus, so our Sharon Williams had to be S.D. Williams. Down the hall, a new math instructor we have is Cicely Martin, but there was already a Candace Martin or somebody on the Birmingham campus. Who was it? Oh, Darlene, yeah, but that wouldn't have been a problem, but there was also someone whose name, an employee whose name began with C. So Miss Martin here had to be C. B. Martin or something like that, whatever. Hey.
Excuse me. They told me to come talk to you because you taking all messages from Miss Tracy Wilson.
That what?
You taking all the students from Miss Wilson.
Okay, I didn't know that, but I know she's out sick.
Yeah, she's Miss Chisholm, we're out there.
Okay.
But she told me that you taking all her people. So
Okay,
I don't know, but I'll come back after.
okay, well, there's a help desk down front. Will they be able to help you?
Well, it's about my major, and she told me to come talk to you because you're
Okay.
taking hers.
Okay, well, I'm in class until,
What time is this class over?
this class is over at 11:10. So
Okay.
I'll be in the office from about 11:15 to 12. I've got another class starting at 12, so I've only got about 45 minutes there. But then after 3:15, I'm free for the rest of the day.
All right, thank you.
Okay. What a joy. Already had about 250 or 450 advisees, and now I'm not going to pick up all of Dr. Wilson's. But a little more seriously, Dr. Wilson is out for the term because they discovered lung cancer, and she's going to have an operation, and so that's why. So I don't mind doing it, except I don't know when I'm going to have time to do all of it. But yeah, it happens sadly. As far as I know, she never smoked, so that's really scary. Say again? Tracy Wilson, she's chair of the natural sciences, and PE, So she's a top-notch person. It's really, really unfortunate. Okay, so that's my email address. Now, a few people actually do other things with it, like Mr. Donnell Perry here, who teaches graphics and design. He chose to be Don Perry at lawsonstate.edu. I guess you can do that, so he did it. Mr. Calvin King, he wanted to be Calvin_King at lawsonstate.edu. So yeah, that's fine. A few others do stuff like this, but most of us first initial, last name at lawsonstate.edu. Here's my phone number here on this campus, Veteran Campus, room 265, 929-3449. Well, let me talk about phone. Right now, I'm so far behind in voicemails, I'm not sure I'll live long enough to catch all those voicemails up. I am hopelessly far behind in voicemails. And it's an awkward system. I can't tell which are the recent ones, which are the old ones. So I would say, don't bother leaving me a voicemail. Here's what I suggest. If you want to call, please call, but call during office hours. Now, these are not correct, and I'll tell you what the correct ones are, and I'll get it corrected on the syllabus before I put it on Blackboard. But only call during office hours. Now, if I don't answer then, still don't leave me a voicemail. Hang up and call back about 5 or 10 minutes later. I'll probably just down the hall or something like that. Okay, so do call, but to call during office hours. Now, my office is in 265. Now, I know two of you know where that is, but the other two may not. We're right here in 255. That's right here where we are. flight of stairs right there. Goes all the way, almost all the way to the end of the hall. The last door is the exit. There's a stairwell going up or down. The door right before that is 265. That's my office there. Right across from the orientation classroom. Orientation here. So I'm pretty close, but I can't hear the phone from here. So obviously, don't call me when I'm in class. I won't hear the phone. Now, on Fridays, I'm on the Birmingham campus, and there I'm in the academic building. Are y'all familiar with Birmingham campus? That's that long building in the back. It's the B building is also called, room 122. Now, just ask anyone there where Dr. Pruitt's office is. If you know where Dr. Pruitt's office is, he has a suite of offices, okay? When you walk in the door, Ms. Saxon's desk is right there in front. Behind her is a copy room, file room, a table. That's where I stay on Fridays, okay? Now, it used to be, up until December of last year, this number worked in that office as well. It doesn't anymore. We've recently, in fact, Dr. Wilson got a grant from NASA, and it's an important enough grant that they got a coordinator for it, and she's using that office, but she's part-time, and she's there sometime Monday through Thursday, but not there on Friday, so I'm still using it on Friday, but she needed a phone without my number, so they had to change the number for that phone. I'll find out. I don't know what the new number is. I'll find out what the number for that one is. That will be my number on Fridays. Okay? So I'll get that change made as soon as I find it. But the room number is the same. It's just the phone's different on Fridays. Now, these are not my office hours this time. This was last summer. So I'll show you what my office hours are now. Okay? At least the best I know it. Mondays and Wednesdays, I have an 8 o'clock class, and then I have this class. This class ends at 11:10, so my office hours go from 11:15 till 12. Okay? Have another class starting at 12. It's another calculus, Cal 3. I don't know if it's going to make it or not. I'm going to meet with them today and find out if it's going to make it. So that these may change, but for right now, I'm there from 12 to 1:40. And then my next class starts at 2. So I have office hours between 1:40 and 2, but it's only 20 minutes. I'll probably just stay in the classroom and not go to my office. So from 1:40, so I'm not even going to put that down. But then that goes 2 to 3:15, and then at 3:15, I'm listed for a physics class. The physics classes we're going to have to stack with Dr. Bryant's, so I'm free after 3:15. So Monday and Wednesday, 11:15 to 12, and 3:15 till whatever time I leave. Right now, I figure that to be about 5:15. Okay, maybe 4:45 some days or something, but usually around 5:15. Okay. Tuesday, Thursday, I know exactly what it is. It's not these hours, but I'll tell you exactly. I have an 8 o'clock class and a 9:30 class. That 9:30 class ends at 10:45, so it goes 10:45 until 12:30. Then I have a physical science class. It's a mini-term class. It goes from 12:30 until 5, Tuesday and Thursday. So I'm back in the office from 5 to 5:15 or something like that. So it's not enough time to really put down. So now some days we may finish lab or a test or something a little early, and I might make it back to the classroom before 5 o'clock, but it's not going to be very long. So those I know for sure. For the first mini-term, Tuesday, Thursday, 10:45 until 12:30. Now, second mini-term, that class is also made. It's also a physical science class, but that one's got automotive students in it. They don't finish their classes until 1, so my class will then be 1:15. So beginning in March, whenever second mini-term begins, it'll be 10:15 until 1:15. I mean, 10:45 until 1:15. Okay? So that'll be second mini-term. I'm on Bessemer campus Monday through Thursday. Then on Fridays, most Fridays, not all Fridays, but most Fridays, I'm on Birmingham campus. I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing 7:45 to 11:45. Here's another problem with Birmingham campus, though. They love calling meetings on Friday. So I'll let you know if I know there's one coming up, so you won't be coming out there for me to be somewhere else in a meeting. But I won't always know. Sometimes I get there and say, oh, they're having this. Okay, well. Okay. Now, There is also a math meeting that we have sometime this term. I'm pretty sure I'll be going to, and that one goes, that usually is on a Friday. It'll be off campus, so I think Shelton, but somewhere else. So I'll probably be going then, okay? And there will be 2 other Fridays I know I'll be gone, okay, not on campus. I have a mild form of leukemia, and I have treatments every 2 months. So I'll have one in February and one in April, okay? Some Friday, they haven't been scheduled yet, but I know those 2. So, and they usually go basically all day. They start me at 7:30, and I won't be through by 11:45, I guarantee it. And then I shouldn't be driving after that, so I won't be coming back to campus. Okay, course description. Now, this is not anything I made up or anyone here on the campus made up. This was done by the 2-year college system, getting with the state 4-year colleges and universities, and they say, if we teach this, you get credit for it, okay? This is the first, actually, I did change something here. I think they've changed it since then. But when this first came out, they said, this is the first of D courses, of T courses. They left off of T courses. And I said, I cannot write that down. Okay, so I correctly spelled 3. I think they've corrected now. This is the first of 3 courses in basic calculus sequence, taken primarily by students in science, engineering, and mathematics. Hopefully you fit the bill. Topics include limits of a function. Hang on, well, let's go on into it. I notice I don't see many books yet, but hopefully when you get your books, you will see when you go to table of contents, I'll talk about the book later, the table of contents, you'll see chapter 1 is a pre-calculus review. And since all of you, I assume, have had pre-calculus, algebra, and trig, I'm hoping we don't have to review that. But if you have any questions from that chapter, scan over it. That'll be your homework assignment. Scan over it. If there's anything you're not sure about, ask me. I'll go over anything in chapter 1, but we won't do it as going through the whole chapter in class. Okay? Chapter 2, limits. Topics include the limit of a function. There's chapter 2. The derivative of algebraic, trigonometric, exponential, and logarithmic functions. Chapter 3, differentiation. That's taking derivatives. Okay? Okay. Chapter 4, applications of the derivative. So still the derivative. And then it says here, and the definite integral and its basic applications to area problems. That's chapter 5, the integral. And 5.1 is approximating and computing area. Okay? 5.2, the definite integral. So this part here is 5.1 and 5.2. Now, if we get that far and have time, we may continue in chapter 5. Okay? But technically that's where Cal 2 begins. So we'll try to get as far as we can, and we may actually do indefinite intervals as well. Okay, so 5.1 and 5.2 cover applications, area problems, and the definite interval. Now, applications of the derivative are covered in detail. That was chapter 4, applications of the derivative, including approximations of error, including using differentials, maximum minimum problems, curve sketching, blah, blah. That's all chapter 4. Okay? So, basically we do 2, 3, 4, and the first part of 5. It doesn't sound like a lot, but these are some long sections. 2 is 9 sections, 3 is 10 sections, 4 is 8 sections, and then 2 sections in chapter 5. So there's a lot to cover, and here's the bad news. Irritates me. Sort of a good news situation is next Monday's a holiday, right? Martin Luther King Day. Bad news is that means we don't have class. And guess what? Our administration decided not to start classes on Monday this week, but to start on Tuesday. So guess what? At the beginning of class on Wednesday, the next time we meet, Tuesday, Thursday classes will have met 3 times. We will have met once. We'll already be a week behind. So I hope we can get everything covered, but let's move on. Okay, prerequisites.
Can I ask a
Yes.
question on that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, do we need to make it up somehow?
We can if we choose. Do you want to try to find a time to make up the 2 days basically we've lost, or you want to see if we can just catch it up in the term?
I don't know, I'm just,
Yeah. I want you ready for Cal 2. So let's see as we go into the term. If we don't look like we're going to finish everything, let's talk about making it up a little later. Let's see if we can move along as fast as we can. Do it. But I don't like to go too fast because in math everything builds on itself. So I want you to get it. So we'll do. Now when I miss a class on my fault, I always try to make those up. Even if everybody can't be here, I record it so you can hear it. But when the school closes, that wasn't your fault or my fault. Okay. I don't know why they did it that way. All right, prerequisites. Math 125 has minimum, blah, blah, blah. Basically, it gets down to if you pass with a C or better in Math 113 or 115. We don't do 115, we do 113. Everybody qualified? Good. Okay. Co-requisite, none. Textbook, as I've already sort of indicated when I picked it up. Calculus, early transcendental, whether they write it this way, I don't know. John Rogowski, I probably should put colon Adams too. 3rd edition. It's a Freeman text, okay? And it's 2015, which means this should be good for another year or so. But they turn over pretty quickly. But guess what? Use the same text for Cal 2 and Cal 3, so you don't have to buy it again, okay? Now, if you rented it this term, you'll have to rent it again or again, however, you have to figure out the rental agreement, okay? Okay. Also bring with you a graphing calculator if you choose. You don't have to have that. There's nothing that we're going to do that you demands that. Most of the things we'll do, you can graph by hand. But sometimes those graphing calculators are pretty nice. You can get to see what the function's looking like and maybe help yourself out, okay? So it's up to you whether you do it. I do put on the book order that that's required, so if you are on Pell Grant, they will pay for it, okay? I do that specifically so to make it so if you choose to get one, you can use your Pell money to do it. Please bring paper. We're going to be working problems. You only learn math by working problems, so bring paper. If you like graph paper, because we will be graphing some, fine. If you like to just do tick marks, you'll see Integrity used to have a graphing screen. This doesn't, so I have to do tick marks, okay? And pencils. Now, if you prefer using ink, I don't care, but I'll make a confession to you. You'll learn soon enough. When I do math, I tend to make errors. And I like to be able to erase them and then correct them. Have we got somebody else? Oh, okay. All right. Pencil. Now, this paragraph, the two of you who've had me before, you've heard me go through this again. I really dislike this paragraph. I don't dislike Blackboard that much, but this paragraph is really bizarre. All Austin Community College students must be trained in Blackboard and use Blackboard daily to gain access to vital course information such as the syllabus. You will read the syllabus every day, won't you?
Twice on Sundays.
Yeah, twice on Sundays, okay? No, I'm making fun of it, sorry. I think it's a little overstated, I'll put it that way. I will put the syllabus out there. Obviously, it's not there yet. I wasn't even sure the class was going to make, so nothing's there yet. And y'all do know how to navigate Blackboard, right? Okay, let me just tell this, okay? When you go to this class homepage in Blackboard, you know there's a series of tabs in the upper left corner. I think the first one is homepage, and then you have a few others, either the second or third. Now, I only see the instructor side, I don't see the student side, so I don't know exactly where it is. There's one of those tabs that says content. Once I get it there, nothing's there now. But once I get it there, your syllabus will be there. I'll get it all corrected, all the errors I found so far, the dates and stuff. I'll get those in times, I'll get those corrected, then I'll put it out there. I'll also put out the research paper, general instructions, which we're going to do next. Okay? I'll also put my locator card. I don't even know what it is yet because I don't know which classes are going to make and which are not. So I'll put that out there. Okay? Then I'll put all of the PowerPoints, or at least all the PowerPoints I can. I think I can get all these on there. The trouble is some of these big chapters, they have more PowerPoints than will go on Blackboard. So some of them, but I think that's in Cal 2 or Cal 3. I think all of Cal 1 will go there. Okay? So I'll have all those. Then if I've found or been given by other students sites, internet sites they found helpful, like YouTube videos and things like this, Khan Academy, whatever. If I have any of those, I'll put those out there under content as well. So you'll have sources you can go to look for more insight, okay? And then finally, I will put a tab out there that says YouTube videos. Somehow I may say MTH125 YouTube videos, something like that. And in that tab, I'll put a link, and you can go to YouTube and pick up the playlist where I'll put all these. Now, I don't have that set up yet because I wasn't sure we're going to be teaching the course. So it's probably going to take me this week or next week to get that set up, but it will be. I'll put today's class and well, we won't meet again until Wednesday. Hopefully I'll have it done by Wednesday, but maybe not. We'll see. Okay. I usually depend on my work study student to help me with that, and he's not started working yet. So, all right. So anyway, we'll do that. I'll have that, and so the link to get to all these screencast-o-matic videos will be there. Okay. So the syllabus will be there under content. Handouts. If I have any handouts for you, I will hand them out to you. Okay, so I usually don't put those on Blackboard. I will put PowerPoint codes. Like I said, there'll be the static version under content, but then also under content, under YouTube videos, I teach from those PowerPoints. So you can have the others ahead of time if you want to print them out or whatever. And I'll tell you this before we get started, this book's PowerPoints are some of the worst I've ever used, okay? They're really poor, okay? But they're there and I use them as much as I can. So anyway, you'll see. I think you'll hear me gripe about it, but you'll see. Okay, well, I'll put them there, both under content, each chapter, and then in the YouTube video, I'll be teaching from the PowerPoint. Then you'll hear me talk about them, and I write on them, okay, so you'll get to see even more. Those are, I call dynamic PowerPoints. The others are static. Activities. Now, sometimes the school puts activities out there. I can't think of anything I'm going to put out there, but check Blackboard to see activities around campus. Assignments, I will put the research paper assignment there after I make a couple of small corrections to it. But we'll go over that today. So it'll be there under YouTube's, but you can't access them yet, but it'll also be there under static, okay? Announcements. Most of the time I'm not going to have any announcements. If something were to come up that I know is happening, it will affect the class. And I know there's Honors and Awards Day is coming up sometime this term. Hopefully they haven't put that on a Monday or a Wednesday and mess up another class. Hopefully that'll be Tuesday or Thursday. So I don't know. I think it is, but I'll check on that. But most of the time the school will put announcements. Look for that. Grades. I will try to get your grades, especially early in the term, out within a day or two. Because as soon as you turn something in and I have a chance, I'll grade it and put it on Blackboard. However, y'all were in here when the student came in and said that I was new advisor. Once we start registering for summer and fall, I already had about 450 advisees. They don't all come by, but a lot of them do. And then, just like what just happened, anyone else's advisees, that if they're not on this campus, they usually send them to me, okay? At least any academic ones. Now, there's one other department chair, academic department chair on this campus. Sometimes she may get a few of them, but sciences and math, I'm going to wind up with them. And if there's problem situations, I usually wind up with them, and they take longer. So once we start doing that, then it's usually Fridays before I get grades in, okay? I'll try to get them in sooner. I will if I can, but don't count on them within a day or two anymore. I'll try to get them in by Friday. Okay, fair use. I don't like this sentence either. Fair use, Blackboard, could severely damage your ability to pass the course. I think that's way overstated. If I were writing this and needed to put something in there, I'd say the proper use of Blackboard could greatly enhance your ability to do well in the course. It's a lot more positive, I think, closer to reality. We don't have schedule books anymore. We haven't had them for years now, but they don't let us change this paragraph. They say, you can't change this. So they say they're coming out this term with a new template, so hopefully they'll have this correct. And I don't like this sentence. Students should always check the Blackboard announcement page prior to coming to class. Why would they put that sentence in there? In case I'm going to cancel class. And Rodney's left, but how many times have I canceled class? I try never to cancel class. I may be coughing, sneezing, and all sorts of misery. I'm going to try to be here if possible. Okay? If I know I'm not, I'm going to let you know ahead of time, and I'll say it. And
Yeah, like a couple weeks ahead too. Like you
Yeah.
will give us so much, you know.
yeah, as soon as I know, I'll let you know. Okay? And it will be on Blackboard, but it won't be on the announcements page. It'll be in the Screencast-O-Matic, okay, YouTube video. Course student learning outcomes. SLOs, slows, for slow students. Okay. Now I didn't write the. I hate it when it does that. Okay. But this is pretty close. Students will use limits to determine the rates of change numerically, graphically, and algebraically. As I said before, that's chapter 2. Students will take derivatives of functions using product and quotient rules, power derivatives, chain rule, implicit differentiation. That's chapter 3. Students will apply the derivative to linear approximation, string values, shape of a graph, L'Hopital's rule, Newton's method. That's chapter 4. Students will approximate and compute area using the definite integral. We use the fundamental theorem of calculus. Now, I think it was probably Ms. Martin that put this in. Technically, fundamental theorem of calculus falls somewhere between Cal 1 and Cal 2. If we can get to that, we'll get to it in Cal 1. If not, you'll pick it up in Cal 2. Okay, students will use, and by the way, definite integrals use fundamental theorem of calculus. So yeah, you're already going to have it, sort of. There's 2 parts to it. You'll have at least 1 part. Students will use the computer and graphing calculator to illustrate knowledge of concepts such as limits, continuity, extreme values of functions. Now, Ms. Martin put that in. If you have a graphing calculator, use it. If not, there are sites out there, websites you can go to and simulate a graphing calculator. Use those, okay? Students will research and write on the topic of calculus. I put that one in there because I do require a research paper, as you will see, and we will talk about. I'll just do this. Here are our competencies then. After we finish chapter 2, you'll have a test. Now, usually a class this small, Rodney's not here, so he loses his vote. Especially upper level classes, I give you the option: do you want in-class test or take-home test? Wow, amazing. Oh, you don't like take-home tests? Okay. They sometimes are a little longer, but they're a little more thorough and they really test all you got. But I'll just make.
All right, Rodney, read the swing vote in this. We're asking take-home test or in-class test.
You see, the Y chromosomes like to take off. No, I don't know. I think you'll have. Here's my reason I even make the offer. With a take-home test, you have all the resources available to you, online, anywhere else. I think it's more of a learning experience. If it's an in-class thing, you could freeze up and make a bad score, and you really know more than that. And the take-home test does give you the opportunity to avoid that. Okay, so. See, he's been in my in-class class. Actually, my in-class tests are pretty long and hard too, and almost always I have to give students extra time. So I don't think you're going to get much easier class tests, and at least you get more flexibility in doing it. So unless you really want them, I will do it take home. class in Math 112. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's a better learning experience to do a take home. Okay, but if you really don't like them, I'll arrange it so we can. Okay, but anyway, chapter 2, when we finish that, we'll have the test. When we finish chapter 3 on differentiation, we'll have the test. When we finish chapter 4, yes.
So how long do you get on when you take the take home test?
I give you at least a week, always. What's that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like you have like a half a day or a day. It's like a week.
Okay. Here's why I do that. I was going to do it later, but I'll tell you now. The reason I give you a week is you always have one more class period to ask me questions in case you started and say, I don't even know what he's asking about, or what do you mean by this? You get to ask questions in the next class. The other reason is you always have a weekend in case you're working and stuff like this, and that's your time when you have the most concentrated time to set aside. I usually like to always include that. Now, I'm also a pushover, right? Okay. If you need more time, you can have it. Okay. But don't string it out until the next test. I mean, get it done as soon as you can. Okay. And again, you have a chance to ask me questions. And if it's a generic question, oh, and here's the other thing, by the way. The test questions, I don't think you'll ever find that they're in the book. Okay. I don't use the book's test questions. So what I do is say anything in the book. I try to make them like the homework exercises. So anything that's in the book, you can ask me, and I will work those on screen cast-o-matic so everybody can see. Hopefully that will give you hints on how to do the test.
I'll just say this too, especially with it being on screen cast-o-matic. If you freeze up during the test, you don't have, you can go back to the recording and review what he went over. So.
Yeah, but everything's out there. Other sites are out there. Everything's out there for you. So that's why I count it a better learning experience. We'll see. After chapter 4, applications, we'll have a test. And after chapter 5, at least those 2 or 3 sections, whatever we get covered, we'll have a test. Now, time out here too. And this is likely to happen, especially since we've already lost 1 week or will soon. Chapter 5, if we're still working on chapter 5 right till the end of the term, then that may be your final exam, the chapter 5 test. Okay, so this is not necessarily a comprehensive final exam. It may just be your last chapter test. Okay, the odds are it's going to be, okay, because already we're short of classes, and I'm talking too much now. So, grading policy, how do we do this? The research paper, oh, and by the way, I didn't say that. Writing competency is your research paper. Overall competency is that probably your last chapter test. And guess what? Like I just said, in math, everything builds on itself. So everything you use back here, pretty much, you're using on the last chapter test. And doing an integral is called an antiderivative. So you're doing differentiation in reverse. Okay? So you're using it all. And you do limits in integrals, just like that. Not quite the same limit, but you do limits when you're doing integrals. Okay, so everything we've done is also counted. Okay, so the research paper is required for the course, not optional, required. It will count as a test grade, and that one cannot be dropped. The research paper cannot be dropped. The chapter test will be given after each chapter, especially 2, 3, and 4, and the lowest chapter test score may be dropped if that helps you. If you made a really lousy score on that research paper, didn't turn it in and got a 0 because it can't be dropped, then you'll need every test score you can to bring that up. Don't let that happen. Okay, by the way, I want to be able to drop your lowest test score if that helps you. The final exam cannot be dropped. Okay, that will be a little shorter test because it's only going to cover a few sections probably, and I want you to be able to get it in a week because that's all the time you have. But that one can't be dropped either. Okay, and it will count just like one test score because it will probably be your last chapter test. Each assessment will be graded on a 100-point scale. So how do I come up with the grades? As always, 90s are average, 90s are A's, 80s are B's, 70s are C's. Don't go any lower than that. Okay, don't wind up in D's and F's. If you do, if it looks like there's no way you can get any better than a D or an F, it's far better for you to withdraw than to get a bad grade. Now, withdrawal does have financial aid implications, but guess what? Bad grades do too. If you make a D or F, you're going to have to repeat the course. Pell Grant will pay for you to repeat it once, whether you withdraw D or F, whichever. They won't do it the third time. But guess what? If you make a D or an F, you're going to have to take it again anyway. So withdrawal doesn't hurt you academically. D's or F does. And there's no difference really in, as far as I know, in your thing. But they still advise if you are going to withdraw, do that. So the purpose here, this is under attendance, please try to be here. Sure, I'm going to record things. It's going to be out there, but you can't ask a recording a question, okay? In class, you can interact with your other students and with me, and we'll work through things. If you have a question, I want to deal with it then. So try to be here all you can. If you can't be here, you're missing material. You can catch up as well as you can on Screencast-O-Matic, but it may not be as good, so don't let missing class hurt your grades, okay? Do the best you can. We want you to do the best you can. Makeup work, really, that doesn't make a lot of sense if you have take-home tests, but like I said before, I give you at least a week to do everything. So, and usually I give you more time if you need it. The one that you don't have more time on is that final exam, because I give it to you the last day of class and it's due by the end of the finals week, and that's only 1 week, okay? Now, you could take an incomplete and finish it later, and then I'll change that grade. So even then, you have some. This class, especially starting at 9:30, I'm here at 8 o'clock class, so I'll be here. I usually get started like that time. Yeah.
I have a class on Mondays and Wednesdays that end at 9:15.
Right. And I understand if you're going to be late, that I have that happen just about every class. Either someone has to leave early to make a class or come in a little late because they were just in one. 8 o'clock classes obviously don't have one beforehand, but still I have some that have to leave early. I understand that. It's unavoidable. Get here when you can. I'll have everything recorded. You can go back and catch anything you missed.
And I'm sorry, while we're talking about that too, unfortunately, it was the only time I could take it. I have a PE class that technically lasts until 9:40.
Right.
But I have a sneaking suspicion that we will be released a little early.
Right.
So obviously, I will be on campus. I'll come up here promptly every time I'm done.
Well,
So,
for you at her, it's okay. For you, no, that's
Yeah.
not. Okay, no, I'm just
There we
kidding.
Get out of the class.
Yeah, right now. Okay, I didn't want you anyway. Okay, no, it's perfectly fine. I understand that kind of stuff happens. I probably overwrote it for you, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've forgotten it, but it did. Now, hopefully you've read this on every syllabus you've ever had here, right?
Yes.
Let me summarize it for you then. You don't want it to happen. I'm talking about discrimination, harassment. I include bullying, that kind of stuff. We don't want it to happen. And frankly, I've been here, I can't remember if it's my 18th, 19th or 20th year, something like that. I have seen practically none. Okay, now I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but I just haven't been aware of it. Okay, the closest I came to seeing it, and I hate to pick out this program, but our automotive program typically gets a lot of young kids right out of high school, typically not really academically inclined, I'll say. Now, sometimes some of my sharpest students have been automotive students. They really get some great students, but occasionally they'll get some that aren't that serious about college. I think your daddies make them come or something. You're gonna do something, son. So they come here, and obviously we had one time. This is like the second, third year I was teaching here, and in between classes or at lunch or something, he just got a wild hair and decided he would walk across people's cars in the parking lot. Someone saw him, yanked him down. He was in the dean's office in just a number of minutes, and after he had a fair hearing, he was off campus and never have seen him again. Okay, we do not tolerate that kind of behavior. Okay, now we are given a fair hearing, but to me, you got to have some awfully good reasons to discriminate, harass, or bully someone, or do something stupid like that. So, but we will give you the hearing, but we're not going to put up with it. Now, on that note, though, let me ask you. Like I said, I haven't seen it, but I can't swear it's not happened. If you see or even suspect or sense that there's something going on, someone bullying somebody else, someone discriminating, harassing somebody, where we can't see it, let us know. We do not want it to happen here. We want to nip it in the proverbial bud. We want to take care of it. We take it seriously. Okay? Americans with Disabilities. Again, you see this on every syllabus, and hopefully this is nothing new to you. If you have picked up on it yet, you may or may not have. I'm hard of hearing, so I'm sensitive to these disability type issues. If you or anyone you know has any type of disability, something like hearing, vision, or dyslexia, or some of those letters, HD, AA, whatever they are, ADA, whatever they are, ADA is American Disability Act, any of those things, please bring in your documentation, take it to Dr. Renee Herndon, she's here on this campus. If you're on the Birmingham campus, it's not Ms. Falana Suggs, it's now Joy Odom, there's some new lady there. Ms. Suggs either got a new job somewhere else or retired something, I don't know. She's no longer there, but I'll get the new name and put it in here. But please bring it in. It's your responsibility. We can't initiate. You have to initiate. So if you're an ADA student, it's your obligation to do that. In fact, we're prevented from even assuming you have. I could see you back there squinting like this. I can't assume you have a vision problem, okay? I can't say anything to you because then I've discriminated against you in case that's how you look, okay? So I can't do that. So if you feel like you're not given a good hearing, there are grievance procedures. We'll have you do those, okay? We want you to have every opportunity to learn, okay? This obviously is not correct. This was last spring, okay? Basically, just a few dates will be your thing, and the year will be changed. Other than that, this is going to be pretty much what the course calendar, the academic calendar is for this year. Okay, I'll get that adjusted and fixed up on the new syllabus. And the final thing is the student acknowledgement form. Now, it's not out there yet. As soon as I get it there, I'll let you know. Then you can read through the adjusted, corrected syllabus. If you have any questions, ask me. Once all those are covered, then if you'll print this off, print, sign, date, or just type it in and email it to me, whatever. Okay? That states that you understand the syllabus. Okay? Any questions on the syllabus? Okay, you okay with the take-home shoes thing? Okay. All right. Let's end this and move to, should have it already open. There it is. Okay. The research paper. You get to choose your topic. I'm not going to assign topics. There's only 4 of you. There's plenty of topics out there. Anything within the scope of the course. It could be a person. We'll talk about several people as we go. In fact, you've already seen some names I read them out to you. L'Hopital's rule, Newton's method. There are tons of people you could choose to write on, okay? Or you could write on a theory. We already had fundamental theorem of calculus, parts 1 and 2. You could write on who developed that, how they developed the application of anything like that. You could write on a phenomenon that uses calculus, differentiation or beginning integration. There's tons of possibilities there. Applications, okay? Maybe within your field of study. How do you use calculus? How do you use differentiation? Okay? Or any other such topic about which you have an interest. I'd like it to be something you're really interested in. You can write me any old paper on anything, but I really prefer it to be something you have an interest in. You're going to expand your inquisitiveness or understanding of something. Or, and this is a new thing I've added fairly recently, it can be an internet application or demonstration or YouTube video or something like that, that you see we're going to cover this, you go out and find it, or maybe you just look at some of the sources I have there and say, wow, this isn't that bad. This is pretty simple. This is pretty neat. If you find something like that and you want to write on that, you certainly can do that. Okay? So, lots of choices there. Now, like you, this week or next, or maybe since we're only 2 days since this week or next, the following week, sometime soon, write your name and the topics you selected on a piece of paper. Now, if you then research on it and find out, boy, I'm not really that interested in this, or wow, I can't find enough, or way too much, I don't know how to narrow this down, you can always change your topic. But get started on it. That's what I'm trying to get you to do, is get started on it, okay? You will need to find at least one, but two or more or better, outside sources for your paper. Now, this book has some excellent blurbs on people, on historical situations, all that kind of stuff. That's not an outside source. This is inside, okay? This can give you ideas, but you need to go outside to get your sources, okay? And what do I mean by that? It can be anything you can find in the library. Books, journals, magazines, newspaper, any kind of articles, or anything else you can find in the library. That could be our library here, the one on the Birmingham campus, a city, county library, whatever. I don't care. Even virtual library. I mean, you can go anywhere you want to for that. Or, now this is a little hesitant here, any legitimate source found on the internet. Now, I would have to say, if someone pushed me to what was the greatest thing developed during my lifetime, I would have to say the internet, I think. I mean, there's been all sorts of great drugs and stuff like this and stuff, but something that across the world has changed everything is the internet. Two big problems with the internet, though. At least half of the stuff on it is total garbage. And sometimes we don't know which half. So be careful when you're choosing stuff from the internet. If you have any doubt, run it by me or run it by another instructor who knows about this, and we'll let you know whether we think it's usable or not. The textbook is not an outside source. It may be a great source for ideas, but not a source for your paper. Okay? Research. Now, I'm not looking for a thesis or a dissertation, or even necessarily a 5-paragraph essay. You don't have to have it that thing. I want your paper to be at least one word process page of text. It means no handwriting. I won't take that at all. I really would prefer not to have typing. I don't know who types anymore anyway, but errors on typing is pretty nasty. But word processing is just a lot better. And what do I mean by one page of text? So let's say that you use some format, that you have some sort of header here. I'm not saying you need to, but a lot of students do. And then they skip a few lines and have a title, and then they triple space and start typing somewhere here. What's one page of text? It's going to go from here to the bottom of that page, and then on the second sheet of paper, come down at least that far on your second sheet of paper. That's one page of text. So it's going to be at least two pieces of paper, at least, maybe more, but at least two pieces of paper to get one page of text. Okay? Now, this is single space. I want your papers to be double spaced. That means you don't have to write as much, but it also makes it easier for me to read and make corrections and stuff. Now, I want it to be 12 pitch font, okay, or 12 point, whatever you call that. That's what this is, and what it's not is 26 point, so 3 words fill a page. That's not going to be a paper. Nor do I want it so small I can't read it and strain my eyes. So try to use 12 pitch. Now, which font? I don't care as long as I can read it. I don't read hieroglyphics or Old English or Cyrillic or any of those, Greek or anything like that. Keep it something neat, clean, easily readable. Most word processing packages default to Times New Roman. Perfectly fine with me. I happen to have done this one in Arial. I like Arial, fine. Courier, that's fine. There's a ton of good readable fonts. You choose one. Don't get curly Q and that kind of stuff on it. Okay, try to keep the paper less than 2 pages. That's a suggestion, not a requirement. Okay? What I'm doing is trying to make it something fairly brief, simple, easy to do, but I want you to be able to expand your knowledge. Now, I've had folks get so excited about a topic, believe it or not, they can't stop in 2 pages, okay? No problem. I don't take off points for it being too long. You will lose points if it's too short, but I don't take off points if it's too long. But on the other hand, I've also had situations where students say, well, if I can't do quality, let me do quantity. I don't want that, okay? I don't want a lousy paper and just more of it. That's counterproductive, okay? In the Navy, we used to say, if you can't dazzle them with brilliance, baffle them with BS. But I don't want to go there, okay? Let's not go there. In fact, let me tell you this. When I get your paper, when you turn it in to me, it's a 100-point paper, okay? And then I start reading it. And as I find errors, you start losing points. So if you turn me in a sloppy, poorly done paper, but then just make it longer to try to make it more impressive, you're just losing more and more and more and more and more and more points. So don't do that. But if you turn in a good paper, it can be as long as you want to. If it's a good paper, you're not going to be losing many points at all, and I'll enjoy reading it. If you're that interested in it, I want to hear what you have to say. So that's why I suggest keep it between 1 and 2 pages of text, okay? Now, any format you choose, most English classes teach MLA, Modern Language Association. Fine with me if that's what you want to use. A lot of scientific, engineering, and other type things, they like the APA format. That's American Psychological Association. They came up with a really neat format. People said, hey, why reinvent the wheel? This is good, you know. So a lot of places do use APA. If you do, fine with me. I remember when I was starting my master's program, the professor that taught the research methods course loved Council of Biological Educators, CBE. There's another format, okay?
Is it Chicago?
Chicago, I think, has one. Is it economics or something like
Yeah,
that?
it's,
Or business school, or Chicago is real famous for that.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a format with Chicago somewhere in the name. I'm a member of a couple of professional scientific, societies, and they have their own format. So I don't care which format you use. Pick one, but stick to it. For instance, consistency is what I'm looking for here. For instance, if you start blocking paragraphs like I did, block all your paragraphs. Don't, at some next page, start indenting paragraphs. You're not being consistent. And here's another one that I've actually seen, and I can almost figure out what's happened. Maybe up here someone makes a reference to one of the sources, okay? And open parentheses and puts the author's last name, comma, page number, close parentheses, okay? But down here, they make another reference to a different one. And they open parentheses and put title of the article, comma, year of publication. Wait a minute. Why are those different? If they were the same type of thing, I think I know what happened. This one up here, they just happened to look and saw how that source did their references. But then when we were down here, it had a different source. They may have been using a different format, and they used their format. Don't do that. You pick your format and use it. Now, I know that in a given format, like MLA or CBE or APA or any of those, you may have one format for books, one for journal articles, one for something. Yeah, I know that those can change. But if you got the same type of a reference and you use different formats, that's not good, okay? Be consistent. That's the key. Okay, what else loses you points? Spelling, grammar, sentence structure, all those things that English teachers mark off for, but also content. And by the way, on this one, I think every word processing package pretty much has spell check. Use it! Okay, no reason not to. Just about everyone has grammar check. Use it! There's no reason not to. And in fact, if you're in an English class, they have that package that they can send papers through. I can't think the name of it, but if you happen to have access to that, use it.
Yeah, criteria,
exactly. Okay? So if you got access to it, I don't care. I want to read a good paper. I want you to produce a good paper. So use whatever you can. Good proofreading is another really important. Content also matters, though. I've had tons of papers on Isaac Newton, and he's still a good source. He developed calculus. Fantastic. Okay? I know just about all of his history. I've read enough papers on it. But I actually had a paper, I think it was Isaac Newton. I can't remember what the year of his birth was. I'm going to make up one. It's probably not true. 1472. That's probably not true. but someone wrote it as 1742. I knew that wasn't right, you know. I mean, I could tell that, in fact, they had a 9 in it, and they had it 1942 or something like that. So anyway, I could tell that was wrong. Also, I had this happen more than once. They mentioned someone's name at the first of the paper, and in parentheses put, for some reason, you know, a lot of times they do this, year of his birth, year of his death. You know, that's pretty common. Then over on page 2, they had him dying in a different year than they did on page 1. And I thought, no, there's an inconsistency here. Something didn't click. Be sure you check, okay? I've also had people write on the Pythagorean theorem and state it incorrectly, okay? I'll pick up on most of that, okay? So please, content also matters. Now, the paper, I want you to do it as early in the term as possible because you'll never have more time later than you do right now. Guaranteed. Drop dead date, the last day of class. That's not the last day of final exams, the last day of class. That is the last time I will accept the paper without losing points. Okay? Now, let me go over this too. Like I said, this is, I think, my 19th or 20th year of teaching here. I didn't have papers in every class to begin with. Within the first 5 years, I started doing that. And ever since then, and back then we were on the quarter system, we had 4 quarters a year, now we're on semesters, 3 semesters a year. I've worked every summer. I've had anywhere from 4 to 8 classes a term. Most of my classes are bigger than this. I'd say I'm average about 15 to 20. So start multiplying those things. I've seen a lot of papers. Okay? And here's something I've noticed. Usually the earliest papers I get in are usually, not always, usually some of my best papers. And then as the term goes on, just the quality tends to decline. And usually some of my worst papers are at the end of the term. I know what's happened there. They put it off to the very end. They had to get it done. They went down and didn't even proof it, didn't spell check it, didn't do anything, turned it in. It was a pretty lousy paper. Now, I've had some real dogs at the beginning of the term. I've had some great papers at the end of the term. But the general trend is downhill. So I encourage you, please, get started on it early. Find your sources. Do as much as you can as early as you can. Now, that's the stick. Here's the carrot. If you turn it in the month of January, I'll give you 4 bonus points. The month of February, 3 bonus points. The month of March, 2 bonus points. The month of April, 1. If you turn it in May, which is the last time you can turn it in, it's just going to be your grade. If you turn it in after the last day of class, which is also early May, you're going to start losing points. Okay? So there's the carrot. Please get it done earlier rather than later. Now here's one more thing. When you submit your papers, I'm probably one of the few, if not only instructors that will require this, I want you to attach a single page from one of your sources. Let's say you had 3 sources. Pick a source, any source, I don't care which one. Okay, and then print me or copy me a single page from that source. Okay, I just like to have that. Later, when students say, "Oh, I can't find any sources on this," I can go through and say, "Yeah, well, here's one." You know, it's just nice to have. Okay, but I do require that. If you don't have that, you're going to lose points for that. Okay. Any questions? Say if it's a book or a magazine, journal from the library, take it over to the copier, copy me a page. Something you get off the internet, print the page. Just a page. I don't want the whole article. Just a page. Okay. Any questions? Okay, I'll get this updated. I'm only going to have to change the months here. Okay, but when I get those changed, I will put this on content in Blackboard. Okay.
It was going to bother me otherwise, so I looked it up. It's the Chicago Manual of Style. So it's CMS.
Okay, okay. I've heard it referred to as the Chicago Style Manual, but yeah, but it's actually Chicago Manual of Style. Okay. All right. Now, one more thing we have to cover before we actually start math. Sorry about this. It's so long, but it's really something that's important So therefore, I've got everybody here, so let's do it. It's safety. Now, we're not going to be doing anything, really, that we have to think about safety, but we still have to think about safety in 3 ways. Anyone think of something that we have to be concerned with? Yes, weather, external, okay? And we are in spring term, and really the worst of it is usually toward the end of the term, but we need to think about it now. In fact, I will tell you, we will have at least one drill of some nature, safety drill, this term. They've started doing this last term, and I think they'll do it every term now. Now, last time it was a fire type drill. I don't know if this time's going to be fire, if it's going to be external. But let me tell you what you do in case you hear the siren goes off, the weather, whatever it is. When we hear that, what do we do? Well, generically, tell me what you do. Wherever you are, what do you do when you hear the weather siren? What do you think?
You would move with your class to a room that has the least amount of windows and has the most structural support.
Yeah, lowest level.
Lowest level.
Lowest level. You go low and interior. 2 things to remember, low, interior. So where do you do that here? You go out of this door right here. Here we are. Go out of the door, hang a left, and down, and go down this half flight of stairs right there. And then immediately at the bottom, hang another left, go down one more flight of stairs, and you're in the hall that is close to the lowest point in this building you can go. There's few little steps down, but when you go there, actually, one of the safest places to be are the restrooms. They're interior, the walls are close together, and you have a lot of corners. The greatest strength is in your wall, even greater is in the corner. So a corner is your safest place. Other than that, close walls, safest place. The wall is stronger than the middle of the room. Okay? So actually, now, if it's going to be a prolonged thing, maybe you don't want to hang around in the restroom for 2 hours or something like that. But there's another disadvantage of the restroom, that if it is an imminent tornado or weather situation, we could easily lose power. If you lose power, there's no emergency lighting in the restroom. And again, maybe not the most comfortable place to be with no lights. So after that, actually, right next to the restroom down on the first floor, this is second floor, but right next to the restroom on the first floor is an office. And that's the dean's office, academic dean's office. And usually about 2 days a week, Dr. Davis is over here on this campus. It varies maybe what. She tries to do it Tuesday, Thursday, but it'll vary. Occasionally, Dr. Pruitt's over here. And even occasionally, Dr. Briggs is over here. Not very often, but he could be. Okay? If anyone's in that office there, and they would invite you in, or you ask if you could come in, that's not a bad place. It's a little more comfortable than the restroom. But it's closed walls and corners. But quite often that door is locked, so you can't get in anyway. Next to that, probably the safest is the hallway. Now, advantages of the hallway, the walls are relatively close together. Disadvantage, there's no corners in the hallway, so you lose that. But the walls are relatively close. But the other big advantage for the hallway is emergency lighting on each end. So you will have, if power does go off, those lights should come on. And I was stuck at a math meeting. We at Athens, I believe it was Athens State. We just were in our plenary, so we had our check-in and all that kind of stuff. The prime speaker was just beginning his talk, maybe 15, 30 minutes into it. Tornado siren went off. We had to go down into the lowest level. We actually went to the adjacent building that would be underneath to do that, and we're down in the hallway. And we were there for, I'm guessing, pretty much close to an hour or a little bit more maybe. And but you could chat and stuff like that. So it wasn't completely bad, but it was standing or sitting on the floor. It was not the most convenient, but it was okay. Now, so after the hallway, then the next room, interior room. Notice I'm avoiding all the exterior. Interior room is room 160. That's the developmental math classroom. Mr. Now, it's an interior room, that's good. You got soil on this side, that's good. You know, it's pretty safe that way. It's big open space, you don't want to be in the middle of that. The walls are the best place, and the corners are even better. But again, no emergency lighting. But if the hall's crowded, stuffy, and stuff like that, you might want to move it there. After that, you pass through the glass doors that go into the library area. Just inside those doors, there's a computer room. That's not a bad room. It's smaller than the classroom. The walls are closer, and you got at least 4 corners. So that's not a terrible room to be in. Next to that is what I call the reference room. That's where the atlases and those kinds of things are, globes and stuff. Now, you got some shelving and stuff in there, but it's close, easy to get near a wall and maybe close, sort of close to a corner. You don't want the books and the shelves falling on you, so that might not be as good. But I wouldn't go any further in the library, because any further you're going to need a room with windows. Like I said, avoid exterior rooms altogether if you can. So stay on the exterior. Now, you hear the siren, we head down that way. Now, I had an interruption, not in this class, in my earlier class, that from Dr. Herndon, because I have someone who's registered for my physical science class who's in a wheelchair. Well, if that were the case, now all of you are healthy right now, but a lot of you go skiing and break a leg or something like this, then I'm going to be the last one out of here, because I'm going to be helping that person down the steps, because we don't have good ways, no elevators in this building. We do have those lifts at the end, and unfortunately the physical science student, his wheelchair is too big to fit on the elevator ramp, so we have to find the ground floor room. So we think we found one, but they're checking on that, so that's a different issue. But if someone can get up here to this room, I'm going to be with whoever that last person is, making sure you get down safely. So what does that mean for the rest of them? Go find friends and chat? No. At least to begin with, you hang together. There's only 5 of us now. Okay, hang together until we all are back together. I will call roll and make sure everybody's accounted for. Then if you want to go chat with friends that are close by, you can. When that alarm sounds, you don't say, hey, sounds like it's bad, I've got to go get the dog out. I've got to go make sure my kids are okay. No. Someone's going to be taking care of all that stuff that can. You do not want to be in the road in a tornado. Cars are one of the worst places. Straight line winds, you don't want to be there. Flooding, you don't want to be there. You stay inside. If you don't, and I get down with that last student and we can't find you, someone's got to go looking for you. And if you're off chatting with friends or in your car doing something else you shouldn't be doing, someone's risking his or her life trying to find you. So stay together until I get that roll, and then after that, as long as you stay inside, it's okay to mingle with other folks. All right, any questions about weather safety? Yeah.
We're in the season of snowstorms.
What's that?
So we're in the season of snowstorms.
Right.
So what would happen then, because for my job, I have to be at work.
Yeah.
I work at UAB, so
Right.
how early will if school is canceled or if your class is canceled?
Yeah. I hope all of you are on Cougar Alert. If you are, that will be generally the earliest one that I would have too. And that comes over your phones. If you haven't gotten your phone on Cougar Alert, be sure you do so. And,
Yeah, they called me twice for the closing Monday.
Yeah.
Or it was it Monday?
well, yeah, Monday we
Yeah.
started later. Yeah.
Exactly. There was a delay or whatever.
Yeah.
So and they
Well,
were
the first time was at least on my phone, was hardly comprehensible.
right.
They said, the college, not which college, my wife works at UAB, so we weren't really sure. The college will close due to slick roads or something like that, and will open at 1,000. What? They meant 10 o'clock, and they said 1,000. And yeah, it was just a really lousy message. So the next time, it was still the mechanical voice, which wasn't very pleasant, but they said LSCC, which which I wish they said Boston State. That would have been even better, but they said LSCC. And they did say 10 o'clock, but then they still gave the years. 2017. Oh, that's the year. Okay. Not 2017. Anyway, we went to a new system this year. Cougar Alert still works, but we went to a new system. If you're not on that, I think an email came out, didn't it, of how to go on to Cougar Alert?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Check your emails and make sure your cell phone is on it. Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, I think, don't we even have like a text messaging service?
Yeah, it'll do all that. You just have to sign up for it. It will do phone, email, and text message. All three or any of the ones that you choose. So check your emails. I'm pretty sure. I know we were sent an email, and I just checked, and everything was good on mine. Okay, and then if you do have to go, let me know, and that you have to get on the road to get to UAB. Are you right across the street UAB or downtown UAB? Yeah. My wife works at UAB too, but she's in research, so she doesn't have to be there like y'all have to be. It's what?
It's a long
It is. I know. I drive by it every day. So yeah, if you have to because of your job, just let me know, and then I'll know that. So I'll know that you've already gone. And if it's really bad, they will pick you up, won't they? Or do they have that service? No. Okay. I knew at some ice storms when people couldn't get up around, they had 4-wheel drive vehicles that were people volunteered to haul people around to get them where they needed to go. Okay. So that was weather emergency. Any other questions about weather? What's another type of emergency we might need to know about? Fire. I'm going to include that anything internal that's happening. That could be fire or chemical spill or something like that that's happened inside the building. Then what do we want to do then? Get out. Okay. Weather, you go in. Fire, chemical, that you go out. What do we do? Just okay. Let's start back over. There may be several things. Let's take fire for instance. What if the fire, we start seeing smoke coming out of these vents, or my computer spontaneously combusts, or something like that? It happens in this room, or electrical arcing and sparking here and sets the ceiling on fire. What's the first thing we do then?
Let them know.
Okay.
Call and let them know.
Okay, you said several things which are absolutely true. If any of you have on your cell phones, I suggest that you do the Lawson State Police Department on speed dial. Do that. If you don't have that, 911. Okay? So at least one person does that immediately. If we're the first to know, we let them know. What's another thing we need to do? Okay, yeah. There's two things, and one is a fire extinguisher. Where is the closest fire extinguisher? Just right out here. Right there, 5 feet from where I'm sitting, right here. On the wall there. Can't get any closer than that. Okay? So, call 911 or Lawson State Police. Actually, Lawson State Police or 911. Fire extinguisher. What next?
We would need to go find the nearest
Fire alarm, exactly. Where is the closest fire alarm?
It's kind of hard to
Okay.
It's a good distance away.
It's not super close, but it's not. This is the old part of the building. This horseshoe here. Old part, that part of the building was built before fire alarms were required to be put in. This is the old part of the building. Now, over here, this is actually first floor. This is what I call the nursing wing. These are nursing classrooms. But actually, those were built later. But actually closer, what's in here is also first floor. This is the student services wing. This is the student financial services here, registrar's office here, admissions desk here, academic dean, all that stuff is in here. That's the newest part of the building. If you go through this corridor here, down this half flight of stairs, don't turn down those stairs, go to that corridor just past the restroom, go across, right there in front of you is student responders, we do that. Then we get out of the building. Okay? Now, out of the building is just like before. You go out the door, down the hall, half flight of stairs, take a left, full flight of stairs down. Rather than going in, you go out. And they say go out at least 75 feet. Why? Well, if there's a fire, there could be an explosion. With an explosion, the glass could be flying. Okay? Get out of range of that. Now, this is pretty wildly pictured here, but it's true. Here's where we are right up here. No, wait. This is that's the interstate. This is Bethlehem Super Highway. Okay, here we are back here. Okay, we're right here. So where does it tell us to go? It tells us to go to this parking lot right down there. Now that's more than 75 feet from the building, but it's a nice place. Actually, I would prefer the grassy area here, but I think they say go to the parking lot, so let's go there.
So just for clarification,
yeah,
we're not going to that parking lot.
Okay.
Well, okay, so you might be.
The fire drill that we had last time, they directed everybody to that parking lot. And I said to my class, no, you do not practice wrong behavior. You practice what we should do. So my class, I had them do this specifically, went down the half flight of stairs out and out that way, and then I told them, normally we go to that parking lot. But this time they want us here, so we walked up the side of the building and went to that parking lot because they told us to. But that's not what you would do in a fire drill. I mean, a real fire. So I said, no, you do not practice a fire drill and tell people to do something wrong. You just don't do it. Okay? So I got not in trouble, but I got somebody's attention. They said, you're probably right. Okay? Because I was on a ship, and when you have a fire on a ship, guess what? You're in the middle of the water. And I was on an ammunition ship. You don't like fires on an ammunition ship. Otherwise, you're a big hole in the water, if that comes about. So you practice what you preach. I mean, you go exactly where you're supposed to go. Okay. Chemical spill the same. Get out of the building in the parking lot. Now, chemical spill, most of the time, it's not going to initiate here, so we just get out. But I gave you the other scenario in case we were the first to know about it. If we just hear the alarm go off, we just get out. And again, you stay together. Now, if you've had 3 people doing 3 different things, we meet together down there in the parking lot, and if not everybody's there, I don't want to say, hey, the building's on fire, no more classes today, I'm out of here. No, don't do that. Stay together, because I'm going to be calling roll, and if we can't account for everybody, myself or someone else has to come back in and look for you in a burning building, fire, whatever is going on, chemical spill. I don't want to have to do that, but I'm going to do it if I think you're stuck in the building somewhere, like you haven't come back from that. Okay, so please stay together. Now, if there are scenarios like when you went to the fire alarm and you rang it here and you're afraid the fire might be back here and you need to get out this way, do it. But then come around and meet us so that we all get together and we can account for it. Okay, so there's external emergency weather, internal emergency fire or chemical spill, something like that. What's the other? Active shooter. I wish we didn't have to do this. We never used to have to do it. We've actually, in the U.S., had at least one active shooter on a community college. They've had several at universities, but I only know of one at a community college. What do we do then? Okay.
You want to take it away?
Okay. First thing we do is lock ourselves in the room. Now, unfortunately, this door is unlocked so people can come and go, but there's no button or something to lock it easily. I have to go around to the outside, get my key, shaking hands. But first, if y'all hear the shot, you're going to hear it before me because I'm hard to hear. Okay? So say, hey, that sounds like gunfire. I come here and I get the key and lock this from the outside. Don't hold the door too when I'm out there. Okay? Okay. I come back in and now we're secured there. Okay? We're not secured here though. Now, unfortunately, that door over there sometimes inside, not from the outside. That does us no good whatsoever except locks us in the room. This door has a deadbolt, but I don't have a key to this one. So this one does us no good. This door here, however, has the buttons just like that. This locks from the outside, and you can still get out from the inside. This is the one you want. Okay? Now, if that door there is locked from the outside, scoot on out there and lock and close that one too. But lock this one. And then close this one. Why? There's a point glass there. They can look in and maybe see us. So close this door so no one can tell if we're home. Which leads to the other thing, there's glass here. So what do? Get back there. Okay? This is the safest place to be, somewhere back here. Hard to shoot through concrete walls. Can't see through a concrete wall. Don't be visible here. We all gather there and we're very quiet. Somebody is dialed 911 or campus police, right? That's one of the first things you do. I've been trying to lock the doors. You can lock this one if you want to. And then we all get back there and we're very quiet. Lights off. We don't want to think anyone's home. Okay? If they look in, all they see are empty desks. Hopefully they keep on moving. Okay? Don't stay visible. Be sure we call 911 now. We're sure that it's all clear. That's not just, well, I haven't heard any gunfire lately. Let's go. No. We stay until someone comes around, identifies themselves as official people, and probably they'll have a key by then, and then they'll get us out of the building. Okay. All right. Any question on any safety issue? Yeah.
Okay, so really quick, I was listening to it was like on like the radio news, and they were talking about how since active shootings have been unfortunately more common,
Yeah.
The dynamics have changed
Right.
to where necessarily hiding isn't enough all the time.
Right.
If they do breach
Yeah.
the door, what would we do?
Okay.
Do we, basically, have there been any protocols that we have initiated as far as what if a breach was to happen and someone was to actually get in?
Right.
What would we do?
I don't know if there are any protocols. Have any of you heard of any? Here's what my take would be. I don't mean this to be sounding dramatic or anything, but I'm old, okay? And if that were to happen, I'm going to get myself between him and you, okay? And if I can do it, I'm going to disarm him. I'm not going to initiate something. I'm going to try to talk our way out of it and everything else, but I'm going to do whatever I can to, number one, protect you, and number two, I was inspired. You remember when the earthquake happened in tidal wave in Japan, Fukushima, the nuclear power plant, spilled all sorts of nuclear stuff inside, and they had a massive cleanup to do. The Japanese people in general are really a pretty amazing group. The old men in the community said, no, don't send the young folks in there. We're near the end. We'll go in. We'll volunteer to go in and clean up what we can. We're near the end of ours. We don't want to lose the next generation. So that inspired me, and that's why I said what I did. I'm not being a hero or anything, but y'all are important. I'm expendable. Okay, so that's all I can think of to say there. We always try to talk our way out and stuff like this, but if that isn't going to happen, I'm going to do everything I can to knock it out of his hand. And I say his. I think one of the couples, there was a woman involved. All the rest of them have been men, it sounds like. And try to, get it out. And if I do knock it out of his hand, why do you get it before he does? Okay. But that's all I can think of. But we always try to talk it. You don't be a hero. I'm not trying to be a hero. I'm just expendable, but you're not. So try to do that. And I mean, the other people I found were just remarkable. that group on the plane that didn't let the hijackers get back to Washington, D.C. and do whatever they were going to do, they forced it down in Pennsylvania, even though it cost everybody's life. Yeah,
Well, see, that's kind of what they were talking about. And, I'm not trying to, but they were speaking about how that, in a situation like that where, talking, communication does not work.
Right.
That, collectively as a unit, you're supposed to try to together
Right.
merge on that one time.
Right. And that's what they did in the plane. That's why I brought that up.
Yeah.
Is that, they didn't let the hijackers get away with it because there were more passengers than there were hijackers. Who knows what really happened? We don't know for sure. There were a few phone conversations going on, but they overpowered them. I'm sure at the cost of injury or maybe even death, but whatever, they all wound up dying anyway. But they did overpower them and keep them from killing other people. So, yes, that would be what we do, but let me be the initiator of that. And if I can distract long enough and for either y'all to get out or we surround them or something, but I will be the forefront of that. I sure hope I will. I hope I won't be messing up my trousers or anything, but I will try to do that.
And I'm sorry for even bringing that up. It's a very
No.
scary topic to talk
Right.
about, no matter when you do it. But
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it's a good point. Any other questions? Good deal. Thanks. I appreciate this. We got 3 minutes to start talking about calculus. And the sad news is, did I put it in? No, I didn't. I forgot to put in the CD. I may not even have time to get it up. But let's at least introduce what we're going to do in the class. Let's see, I'll leave this up because I'm going to use that in another class. Okay. No, wrong one. Let's close that one. Okay. Now, again, I said the PowerPoint are not too great in this. I have to go to book content. Most other classes I go to Start, but Start is actually more steps and it gets me to the same place. So book content, Art PowerPoint, they don't even have active. And we're not doing Chapter 1, though if you have questions on Chapter 1, bring those to class. Review Chapter 1. If there's anything you're fuzzy about, uncertain of, ask me, and we'll go over Chapter 1. But we'll start in Chapter 2, and I think you'll see right off the bat what I'm talking about in the quality of the PowerPoints. We may not get far enough for that, but and I will tell you this, I'm using DVD or CD, DVD I think it is, that's actually from the previous edition. So we may run into some little discrepancies there, but it won't be anything major. It's just awfully slow coming up today. But I will say this, since we're ultimately going to get here one of these days, but this is how this has been all day long. I click on something and it takes forever. Now it's coming up, I guess. These new books, they have all this sort of discovery stuff. They talk about kind of this nebulous stuff in the background without ever telling you what you're, or at least the way I look at it. There we go, slideshow. Why you're doing it, okay? I say let's just cut to the chase. But they start this way. And again, now notice here, that's not a bad slide, but why all that white space around it? So what I do typically, well, actually the easiest way is this way. Zoom in. If I can, I will expand it so it's easier to read and see. And I think that what's presented on Screencast-O-Matic will then be easier to do too. Now, this is in our text. It's a strange attractor, it's called, represents the limit behavior that appeared in the first weather models studied by meteorologist E. Lorentz back in 1963. So if you're looking at limits and you're interested in weather, there's a possible thing to do. I'm not sure just doing ERS will give it to you, but you might find something there. This is modeling functions, taking limits, and where is it heading? Now, do I get much out of that? No, but it's trying to show you uses of limits. Why don't we just get on with limits, okay? And I think we've run out of time. Okay, we'll start in 2.1. We didn't get much covered, but at least we got that first slide covered. And we'll start here with next time. Yeah, why not? All right, good to have you in the class. It looks like it's going to be a good one. And we will keep it.
I know it's been kind of hectic with holidays and whatever. I don't know if you know or not, I got the NASA.
Yes, that's why I heard. That's why you were in Oregon.
Well,
yeah. No.
I actually visited Houston.
I see.
And just passing through, and I mentioned it on my photo that was, hey, if everything works out with the NASA program, I'll be there for a couple days. So anyway, long story short, but yeah, I'm in the NASA program right now. It will go until I think the first or second week in February, and everything's going pretty good so far.
Super. So, do you happen to know the lady who's the coordinator, the grant coordinator on the Birmingham campus? Or her phone number is more what I'm interested in.
I can get it.
Okay, well, I'll get it Friday because I'll be over there. But I thought if you knew it now, I'd jot it down. Okay, right. Okay, yeah, okay. Well, I'll find out because last time I was over there, found out it was changed. No one knew what the real number was. So we'll find out. Okay, but congratulations.
Yes,
way to go. It sounds pretty interesting.
Really, it's I didn't so much say that for I was more so meaning thank you for all the time, and I'm sorry for having to ask you so much for all the letters of recommendation, but they paid off.
Oh, that's really fantastic. Super. So, glad they did.
Basically, what will happen now after the 5 weeks are up,
right,
I will be evaluated on how I did,
right,
and if I am above the they have a set kind of limit or more, and everybody above that level gets to actually fly to Houston and be there for a couple days and work hands-on with stuff.
Fantastic.
So it could be huge.
Yeah, super.
But I just wanted to give you an update and just tell you again, thank you for all your time and patience.
Right. No, that's what they pay me for. You pay my salary, so yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to the class, and
good deal.